Welcome to the Corber Lang channel. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the best and the worst G.I. Joe vehicle drivers. So sit back and enjoy. Whether you collect G.I. Joe for the action figures, vehicles, or both, you've probably found that the vehicle drivers aren't quite as good as the carded figures. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, when it comes to vehicles, the effort is put on the vehicle. Like I said, there are some exceptions. Some amazing vehicle drivers, in my opinion, in some cases better than the carded ones. I'll be starting this top 10 with the good vehicle drivers, and then I'll be moving on to the bad ones. So let's get started. Let's begin. Okay, kicking it off, we have the Cobra Lampreys. These guys came with the hydrofoil, the moray. A really cool figure. I had this guy growing up. You had to go from being a Cobra eel before you could qualify to be a lamprey, which I thought was kind of cool. So these guys are at the top of their food chain. Next we have Worms, driver of the Maggot, released in 1987. Wicked looking figure. I love that uniform, and the mask really sets it off. The antenna, I think, is not the original one on mine because it doesn't quite match. I'm not too sure though, let me know if you know. Sergeant Slaughter, the drill instructor, looking more like he's ready for combat. From 1988, released with the Warthog. Beautiful looking action figure, an amazing iconic character. Next, from 1984, we have Thunder, the driver of the Slugger. This vehicle driver came with quite a few accessories for a driver, I found up to that point, with this radio headset, its monocular, and the visor. A beautiful looking figure, nice dark colors. Not a super popular character, but this is my list, so Ice Viper makes number 6, released with the Wolf in 1987. This guy was kind of, I guess, like a ninja. Come with 2 size, had a ninja mask or a balaclava. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1. Next we have Payload and Hardtop. They came with the Defiant. Both drivers, but Hardtop drove the Crawler and Payload drove the Defiant. Awesome looking action figures. I like Payload a lot more because he looks like a real astronaut. Hardtop not so much. He's got that losable microphone and a small gun. Not a big fan of the baby blue, but I do like the mold for this figure. I like the hard hat too, but I kind of wish it was removable, but then it would be just another losable part. Okay, from 1985 we have the driver of the USS Flag, the aircraft carrier. Admiral Keel Hall. What a great action figure. And what an amazing playset, an iconic playset. One of the best G.I. Joe playsets, as well as one of the best toy playsets from the 80s. But here is Admiral Keel Hall. Beautiful looking figure, nice mold. Come with a small gun, which I don't have. I really like the detail on the hat. Beautiful action figure. Okay, before you get too upset for me not picking AVAC from the Firebat Jet, or maybe Wild Weasel from the Rattler, just give this guy a chance. He's a Cobra. Looks more like a gladiator. He's got those removable claws, kind of like Wolverine. I just love this guy. He looks like somebody Snake Eyes would have to fight before the final boss. His name? Warlord, driver of the Dictator from 1990. I look at this one like an action figure that came with the vehicle and not the other way around. I think because Zartan is so iconic, and it's such a small vehicle that just kind of went along with the action figure. But nonetheless, he's still a vehicle driver, and number 2 on the list. This color-changing action figure came with a mask, a gun, and a backpack, and the swamp skier disassembled to go along with the disguise. Okay, taking the number 1 spot for best vehicle driver in the entire 82 to 94 lineup, Serpentor. Driver of the Air Chariot, released in 1986. Another case where this is an action figure that came with the vehicle and not the other way around. Serpentor is iconic. He was in the movie. He's an amazing action figure, an amazing character. The Air Chariot, not the greatest vehicle, but I loved it nonetheless. Growing up, I had this. It's a beautiful gold color. Looked great outside on a sunny day. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, great action figure, number one, in my opinion. Let me know what your number one is. Shit, let me know what your entire top 10 is if you want. All right, let's move on to the worst. This is probably the part you've been waiting for. Okay, kicking it off from 1988, we have Windmill. He's the pilot of the Skystorm X-Wing chopper. I really like the vehicle, not so much the figure. Cool gun though. Okay, next we have the HISS tank driver, otherwise known as the Enemy. Not a big fan of this guy. I don't know if it's the head sculpt or those long prostitute boots, but this guy just doesn't do it for me. I will say the Cobra HISS tank is one of my favorite Cobra vehicles though. Okay, for number 8, we have the driver of the Crossfire, the remote control vehicle, Rumbler. Came with that helmet and a cool machine gun. You can see here from the photo that he's more or less just a kit bash. There's Bazooka's legs and waist, the torso and arms of heavy metal, and Footloose or Claymore's head sculpt. I apologize for this one. I know he's a lot of people's favorite figure, but the Gyro Viper, driver of the amazing vehicle, the Mamba. I love the color on that thing, but this figure personally didn't do much for me. Kind of a plain figure. The removable helmet is really cool. Here's another one that's gonna get my ass kicked. Ace from 1983. Keep in mind that the Sky Striker is in my top 5 all-time favorite G.I. Joe vehicles. And I do like Ace from the cartoon. Just this action figure, I don't know. I only really used him in the Sky Striker. He didn't really go with any other missions or vehicles. I guess in that sense that makes him a good vehicle driver, but he is still kind of boring to me. But as an adult collector, he'll always have nostalgia, and I'll always love him for that. Next, from 1984, we have Deep Six. He's the driver of the Shark. Kind of a cool concept. This vehicle and figure with the air hose. You could pump bubbles if you were playing with it in the water. But the reason he's on this list is just simply because of the poor articulation. Okay, for number 4 we have Hot Seat, driver of the Raider from 1989. Just not a fan of the colors with this guy. Don't like the orange pants, more or less. The helmet is not bad, but the rest of them, thumbs down. Okay, number 3, Skid Mark. This guy's made a couple of my shit lists. No pun intended. He's the driver of the Desert Fox, released in 1988. It's not a bad sculpt, I'm just not a fan of the colors or the name. Okay, for number 2, something I would compare to a number 2. Sea Slug, from the Sea Ray Navigator, released in 1987. The Sea Ray was really cool, had lots of play features. I faintly remember it in a G.I. Joe video game too. The action figure, nah. Colors are a little bit, I don't know. Not a big fan of it personally. Let me know if you disagree. Alrighty, number 1 we have Backstop. He's the driver of the Persuader. It's a tank that kind of looks like a G.I. Joe version of the HISS tank, but unlike the HISS tank driver, the Enemy being kind of boring, this guy's a little bit over enthusiastic, I think, in all the wrong ways. Not a fan of the colors. Kind of looks like the condiment section of a hot dog. Alright, well thanks for watching. I hope I didn't piss anybody off. I love collecting G.I. Joe, and the ones that I even don't like, I still love lots, so I'm just kind of putting them at the bottom, or the less loved, and making an interesting video, so don't take it personally. I took all my choices, except for Overlord, from the top 10 good vehicle drivers, all from the 80s, because I find some of the 90s ones are just a little too carried away. They're nice if you like the Neon Joes, but I just figured keeping it to the 80s, the best of the best, would be a better video. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.